Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I am Chad. I'm the Resellerrockefeller. Today is April the 26th. Welcome to another video and welcome back if you're a subscriber to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I'm a full-time reseller. Go check out some of my previous videos. I buy and sell stuff. I source for, different items to resell on eBay, Amazon, Etsy. I've also sold on plenty of other platforms. So if you're somebody that's looking to get into reselling, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the last video that I uploaded. Sorry about the last video that I uploaded. I know it didn't have a lot of reselling content, but it was a video that I just wanted to make real fast. I wanted to upload something, and I didn't really have that much to talk about, so I decided to just, upload a video of, kind of my little daily activities or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, today's video, we're going to be talking about how to make more money as a reseller. There's so many different things that we're going to be talking about in this video. And the reason that I'm actually making this video today is because I just seen a video uploaded. I think he uploaded it today. It was uploaded by the Craigslist hunter, which is Pete. If you're not subscribed to his channel, I highly recommend that you go subscribe to his channel. Really good guy. Really good reseller. He has a lot of knowledge, and he's probably one of the resellers that I can relate to the most on as far as, on the platform of YouTube. Me and him have a lot in common, and the kind of items that he buys, the kind of stuff that he sources, and just in general, the way that he does business. He reminds me a lot of my father. But anyways, basically, he uploaded a video, and he pretty much was talking about how important it is, or, not really how important it is, but basically stating that resellers are making a huge mistake by not letting people know that they're actually resellers. And it's something that I talk a lot about in videos. If you go back and watch all of my videos, or if you've seen any of my previous videos, I talk a lot about, how important it is to let it be known that you're a reseller, to advertise, to, give people business cards, and constantly put your name out there, and constantly let people know that you buy and sell items. And the reason for that is just like what Pete said, and just like I've said in previous videos. You want to get business, right? And the best way to scale your business is to source more merchandise. But when you're a reseller, there's two different ways to obviously, source more, right? You could start to buy stuff wholesale. You can start to buy stuff in bulk. You can start to get connections where you're picking up, huge bundle lots of certain items. If you watched the video that I'm talking about that Pete just uploaded, he talks a lot about the grill things that he gets from a certain supplier. These are all, connections and relationships that you're going to build along the way, as long as you're telling people that you're a reseller. Now, most of those connections you're never going to find, or you're never going to come across, because you're never going to put yourself in a situation to get the business if you don't tell people that you're actually a business. And so there's so many resellers out there that go to estate sales, they go to garage sales, and they just buy items. They don't ever ask, hey, do you have anything else for sale? Or, here's a business card. If you ever have anything else you're looking to get rid of, give me a call. It's just, I see it so often where, people are resellers, but they're just afraid, or they're too shy. I don't know. I don't really know what the excuse is behind, resellers not giving up the information that they're a reseller. Obviously, some people say, hey, I don't let people know that I'm a reseller because I don't want it to affect the deal. I don't want it to affect whatever I have going on. And that is kind of true. I have to agree to a certain extent that, if you're at a garage sale and you're buying, let's say you're buying a box of video games, and you're working out a deal on the video games, and you also want to buy, a box of, toys. You don't want to just sit there and say, oh, well, yeah, I'm a reseller. I want to buy this box of toys. I want to buy this, these games. What's the, because then, yes, they're liable to up the price on you, or they're liable to, treat you a little different, or they're liable to not just, sell you the items at all. It just all depends, right? You never know how somebody's going to react to you, telling them that you're a reseller. But this is what I have to say about a situation like that. So what I would do is I would work out the deal, and then in the end, I would, immediately let them know that, hey, by the way, I am a reseller. I go out, I source for items that I can resell. I assure you, I pay the most. I'm reasonable. And you also got to let them know that, you're providing them with a service. You're providing them with a deal that's easy, and you're not somebody that's going to complain. You're not somebody that's going to lowball them. And you got to kind of reassure them that there is a benefit to doing business with you rather than doing business with, a bunch of other people. It's harder to do business with 20 people. It's easier to do business with one person. It's also, very good to remind them that you always have cash and that you can always come and, just make things simple. That's what people want to hear. Now, if you just tell people, hey, I'm a reseller. If you have any items, give me a call. Yeah, you might get phone calls, but you also might not. People might just look at that as being arrogant. It just depends upon how you come off to the person. You need to come off as a person that is a respectable, trustworthy business owner that is looking to make life easier for them. And in the meantime, you're willing to spend money, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make them happy, as long as you're happy as well. And that's kind of like the game, right? You got to play the game. You got to figure out the best way to get in good with people and let people know, and to explain to people that there is a benefit to do business with you. So anyways, like Pete said in his video, and like I've said in other videos, I've said this in so many other videos, you have to put yourself out there, right? And also, it brings deals to you. So like I've told you in other videos, I get phone calls all the time where people say, hey, I seen your advertisement on, Craigslist. I put ads on Craigslist. And basically, I put like a brief description of who I am, what I do, and then I list a short little list of items that I'm looking for, and then I kind of finish it with explaining to them why they should call me and all that good stuff, right? And I get phone calls from that all the time. I also get a lot of business from people that have done business with me in the past, and they've, basically just relayed my information to somebody else. And basically just, the word of mouth has kind of went, all around Gainesville. And now people know me as like, a full-blown business. Similar to, let's say a popular pawn shop or a popular thrift store. My name is pretty well known to the point to where when people are, if somebody's interested in selling an item, either they already know about me and they know my information, or they found out about me from somebody else, or they go online and they look up somebody in their local area, which would be Alachua County, Gainesville, Florida, and they would see one of my advertisements either on Craigslist, Facebook. I also do a little advertisement in a local little newspaper. So there's numerous ways that people can, see that I'm a buyer, that I'm a reseller. Now, also, when you're advertising that you are a reseller, there is a good way to go about it, and there's a bad way to go about it. Basically, you don't want to come off as the kind of person that is looking to pay nothing for an item and get items dirt cheap. Because you got to understand, the average person can only compare you to whatever is already out there. So let's say, for example, let's use Gainesville for an example because I'm from Gainesville and I know the area. The only places in Gainesville that buy items is a couple of thrift stores. There is a Second and Charlie, which is like a secondhand store, but they also sell new video games, books, CDs, media. They also sell used items as well, but they don't really pay that much. They're just like a pawn shop in a certain way. They don't do the pawn side of the business, but the way that they pay is based upon like a weird, they have their own, method of figuring out how much they pay for an item, and it's just extremely low. So when people, when people are looking to get rid of something in Gainesville, they can only compare me to what they know, as far as places to take items and sell items in Gainesville. And so automatically, the odds are against me because they're comparing me to places that absolutely pay nothing for items. So you need to make sure that whenever you get in contact with somebody or somebody contacts you about selling you something, that you immediately make sure that you distinguish yourself far away from the competitors. You need to make sure that you immediately tell them that you're nothing like a pawn shop, you're nothing like XYZ, you are better. And this is why you're better. And explain to them why you're better, and explain to them why, you appreciate them reaching out to you. And, it's just business 101. You want to do your best to get their business, and you want to do your best to make sure that they come back. That's another really big problem that I think a lot of resellers don't understand. They're always just looking for the one-time deal, not realizing that if you're trying to grow a full-time business, if you're trying to do business in your local area for years to come, you need to stop looking for that, that one-time deal, and constantly pay attention to the future, and constantly pay attention to how you treat people and the way that you do business with people, so that they keep bringing business back to you, so that they, that they recommend you to other people, and they constantly come back to you because you made things easy. That's something that I've talked about in other videos. When somebody, is trying to sell an item, basically you have like two kinds of, there's numerous different kinds of people out there, but basically when somebody's trying to sell an item, you have the kind of person that is hurting for money, that's poverty, poor, whatever you want to call it. Basically, they're down on their luck and they need money. You have the other kind of person that is maybe, upper middle class or wealthy, that is just looking to get rid of an item, but they don't want to throw the item away or donate it. They know that it's worth something, so they want to sell it, but the money to them isn't really the dividing factor. It's basically they just want to sell the item. Maybe, they see a little value in it, and they know they're the kind of person that just doesn't want to donate an item or throw an item away. They are the kind of person that would list an item on Facebook Marketplace or possibly put it on Craigslist. Then there's the other kind of, seller that's the kind of person that's, pretty wealthy, that is not looking for the money at all. They're just looking to get rid of an item, and they're looking for the easiest way possible to get rid of that item. They don't, they don't want to take the time to meet you and talk about it. They don't want to text back and forth. Maybe they have like 7-8 boxes full of junk in their garage. The wife told them to get rid of it. They don't even want to take it to a Goodwill and drop it off. That's how lazy they are. There's those are like the three main kind of like sellers that you're going to run into, right? And each one of those sellers are totally different in the way that you're going to have to handle the situation. And so I find it that I run into the third kind of reseller the most. A pretty wealthy person that has a bunch of junk that they're just looking to get rid of, and they want things as simple as possible. I find that I get myself into those situations a lot, and I also find that, really I sell to all three of those kinds of sellers, or buy from all three of those kinds of sellers all the time. But when I really break down the numbers, I really think that I buy mainly from the number one kind of seller, which is somebody that is, down on their luck, poverty, poor type person that needs the money. They need to pay their bills, or they had something come up, they need the money, they don't have that much money, so they need to sell off items, or maybe they got the items from somewhere else. For whatever reason, they're trying to sell the item, and they're going to be a little harder to deal with because they're always looking for as much money as possible. But sometimes they could be easier to deal with because sometimes they just don't know about certain kinds of items like antiques and collectibles and things of that nature. The upper upper class, middle class type person, which is the number 2 kind of seller, these are the kind of sellers that they just are maybe cleaning out a garage, or maybe they just had a couple of items laying around the house that they no longer need or want, and the wife said, hey, you need to find a home for these items, you need to get rid of these items. I don't know what you're going to do, but you need to get rid of this stuff. And they said, oh, okay, well, I don't want to take it to the Goodwill. I don't want to donate it. I remember, we bought this laptop for $200. This old iPhone is definitely worth something. Let's see if we could sell it on Facebook or Craigslist. And then during that decision making of, where to list the item, they find your advertisement or my advertisement, and they say, oh, well, instead of me wasting my time and meeting strangers, I am going to reach out to somebody that has an advertisement that they buy items. So anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is, there's different kinds of sellers out there. There's different types of sellers. And the way that you deal with people is directly going to affect you and your business for years to come. So don't ever just look at each deal as like a one-time deal. So like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, I had a guy come. He probably had at least $1,500 to $2,000 worth of gold. So I could have probably gotten that gold for less than half, just because they needed the money. They needed to make some payments on, I think it was her car. She was defaulted, or she was about to default on the car payment, so they needed some money. But these people are longtime residents of Gainesville. They work, they live here, they have children. Long story short is, I could have gotten, the items for a lot less than what I actually paid them. But I wanted to be extremely fair, and I wanted to let them know that, hey, I'm a really fair guy. The pawn shop offered you, $200. The other pawn shop offered you $400. I'm willing to pay you $750. And, it blew them away, right? Well, this is a prime example of, how to handle the situation. Some resellers would have looked at that deal and said, hey, I'm going to try to get this for the best price possible. I'm going to lowball them. I'm going to pay a little bit more than the pawn shops. I'm going to get the items, and that's it. Not looking for the future, not paying attention to how this can affect you later on. So basically, we did the deal. Everything was fine. They were extremely happy. 3 days later, the wife calls me up. She, hey, how's it going, Chad? Blah, blah, blah. She told me your name. I said, hey, how's it going? I remember you. How, we had a short conversation. She said, yes, we have a few other items that we're looking to sell. You told us that you're interested in this, that, and another. I said, yeah, sure, I'll come take a look at what you have. Long story short, I drove back to their house, and I ended up buying a couple of electronics, some video game stuff. I bought a little mini bike. I bought a few other pieces of jewelry. I ended up spending around like $800 or $900. Boom, another deal. So, that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So this person I've done business with in the past couple of weeks twice. And, other people that I've done business with, there's certain people that I've done business with, 10, 15, 20 times. I mean, there's people that I do business with on a regular basis. So you always want to look at every situation and every negotiation, not as your last, but as your first, and many more to come. That's basically, the best way to look at it. And if you're not putting yourself out there and you're not letting people know that you're in business and that you are a reseller, you're a buyer, and like I said earlier, you got to make sure that you explain yourself in the correct way, because you want to make sure that people know and understand that there is a benefit to bringing items to you and not to the next person, because you got to remember that you're not the only person that's buying items in whatever town you're living in. Some people, if you live in a really small town, maybe you are the only reseller, but most people, even my town, Gainesville, isn't that big of a town, but we have lots of resellers. For some reason, we have a ton of resellers, so there's a lot of competition. But there's plenty of stuff to go around, right? Americans are the most wasteful people. We throw stuff away, we give stuff away, we sell stuff. So, you're always going to be able to find stuff. I don't think that there's ever going to become a time where people like myself will ever be, not able to find items to buy. I don't think that day will ever come. If it does, then yes, us resellers would be screwed. But, there's so much stuff to go around. So don't ever look at the competition as something like super bad. But always, understand that there is competition out there. And that, the only way to beat out your competition is to, work harder than them and do things better than them. And I'm going to tell you straight up right now, most of the resellers, I would say at least 95% of the resellers in Gainesville, none of them advertise. None of them, put themselves out there as a reseller. Most of them, they go to garage sales, they go to estate sales, thrift stores, things of that nature, storage auctions, and they just act like they're regular people, but really they run, full-time reselling businesses. And I just don't think that's the way to go about it, because you're missing out on so much business. There's so much out there. And that's the big thing is if you're like myself, if you're like a one-man operation, I am a one-man operation. So for me to make a significant amount of money per month, I've said this in other videos, my goal for the past 4 or 5 years has been to make at least $20,000 net profit per month. That's like my goal. And for the past, I would say 3 to 3.5 years, I have consistently made over $20,000 net profit per month by myself. And I can make more, right? I mean, I could make way more than that. But that means I would have to put way more time, and I would have to dedicate myself a lot more to the business than I am right now. I'm not looking to I'm not looking to become a millionaire. I'm not looking to become a multimillionaire. I like to do what I like to do because I enjoy it. And, I like to make enough money to make it to where, I'm able to live comfortably and I'm able to save money and I'm able to do the things that I want to do in life, right? But I'm a one-man operation. So for me to make that kind of money, it's hard if I was only going to thrift stores, garage sales, and estate sales. Unless I was buying like in bulk, wholesale, then I probably could make that much. I could probably make more, but I don't. I like to deal in one-off items, used items, antiques, collectibles, jewelry, things of that nature. So for me, I need to source not only at yard sales, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, storage lockers, estate liquidations, but I also need to get the business of people calling me, people bringing me stuff, connections with businesses and connections with, different people that own businesses where I'm able to get, large amounts of stuff. And also just, being that person, the person that buys items. That person in my town is the one that's getting all of the deals. And I am that person. I'm that person that everyone calls when they have an item for sale. And that's the way it needs to be. And that's the way that you need to, make it. Because if you're not that person, then you're missing out on a bunch of money and a bunch of opportunities. So put yourself out there. Let everybody know that you're a reseller. The main thing is, like I said, you need to make sure that people understand that there's a benefit to doing business with you. You can't just say, hey, I'm a reseller, here's my phone number. You got to do more. You got to let them know that that it's worth it. You got to let them know. You got to talk them into it. You got to let them know. So anyways, that's the end of the video. I've rambled on for long enough. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're not subscribed to Pete, the Craigslist Hunter, definitely go subscribe to his channel. Most of you are probably subscribed to his channel, but if you're not, definitely go check out his last video. The last video he uploaded was, it was April 25th. So yeah, so go check that video out. And until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. and keep on reselling. Hopefully you go out this weekend and you find a bunch of items. Tomorrow's Saturday. I cannot wait to get out and go sourcing. I'm definitely going to be making a video tomorrow, so be on the lookout for a yard sale video plus a haul video in the next couple of days. Until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming. Peace.